we find ourselves in a part of the keep where none of you have stepped foot in before. To create a visual of the keep and the space that it takes centuries and centuries and centuries ago, and some history book that Pierce might have been forced to remember at a younger age, and all of you were taught it at some point but maybe not have remembered it. The keep itself is built into the side of a small mountain. This is what allows like the three different levels, as well as providing a view for all of it, the entirety of the city for the most part, and the nearby land and the port. Every time you have all made your way through the different tiers, knowing that the royal family is typically in the very top tier. But right now, you guys find yourselves not up, but down. You find yourselves deep in the underground of what is the keep. And you know that there was some level of dungeons and cells that would be used in very dire circumstances that realistically weren't used very frequently. But you guys knew that they were there. But you guys are even deeper than that. You guys, weeks after the events of what happened at Lenneth Academy, you find yourselves in a war room deep in the safety of the mountain. And there's a point where you have all been in these conversations and meetings already for a few hours, knowing that tomorrow morning you would be heading out, and it's already late into the night. You guys can all feel just the weight of the day and the impact of everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks back at Lenneth, now having these meetings, being asked and sent into Stey Caria, deeper into Stey Caria, into the region that is owned and protected and managed by House Kalemore. But Weaver rubs her face a little bit. You guys can just tell she is exhausted. Looks like hasn't slept in days. And so what happens if they're in trouble? She makes that question towards both Helena and the Archforge, who are on another side of the table. And at this point, Helena speaks up and just says, well, looks at all of you, know that this is a dangerous mission, but they're probably the most capable at this point in time to actually do the mission. No one knows who they are. They aren't you, my queen. And then you could tell even in this moment, Helena, knowing that she's asking a lot of you guys, but there's not a lot of people there's a lot of that just trust to be sent on this mission. Weaver looks at the rest of you guys. Are you sure you're all okay with this?
I don't think we'd be here if we weren't okay with this.
We already came this far because we wanted to. Not following through. I don't think that's something any of us have considered.
I know. It's just, I'm asking you guys. It's hard because I'm your friend, but then I'm the queen, and so I'm asking you guys as the queen. But then I feel like you guys feel pressured too because I'm your friend, or you feel pressured because I'm the queen. But the Archforge speaks up. Here's the reality. Even in the few weeks, you guys can tell that the Archforge seems to have gotten a little bit more of his energy back that it seems that he had lost. And still a massive figure of a man, but you could tell in the span of these couple of weeks that he had lost some weight. But the Archforge speaks up a little bit and just says, well, the reality is this, that if we don't send someone out, there will be other attacks similar to what happened at Lenneth. And right now we at least have a bit of an idea of where they could be. And so they seemed, from at least what I remember, they obviously were trying to keep it under wraps, but their next mission was further north. They obviously are trying to remain quiet, it probably seems like, but I would say making your way north right now, reaching the Skyfang range will probably be the best bet. And with people of this caliber, there's no way that they can fully remain anonymous or quiet. I mean, we already have the identity of one of them, right? And he looks over at the four marshal at this point and just says, "Yes, that's right. They obviously Kubash, you're all familiar with. We've tried looking into information on this Lena person that you all seem to have made contact with a few times. We have, at least as of right now, no true, honestly, we don't know who she is. And then obviously everybody else, we only caught a glimpse of them. But one of our people at Leneth was able to identify the Dragonborn that seemed to be a part of this associated with these Crystal Talons. And so we know that at least he hasn't been seen, and honestly, it's been months at this point, but a former cardinal of the Church of Valaria. He goes by the name of Tertios. He seems to be in league with the rest of them. The hooded man, still no clue who these are, as well as the white-haired individual that some of you seem to have fought, as well as the Yasimar. We're unaware of, unfortunately, of the identity of the rest of these individuals, but having at least the identity of two of them does at least point us in the direction of that we could go. And so, honestly, even heading north towards the direction of the Skyfang Range, again, this is the farthest north region of House Kaelmore, but it is one of the last places that Tertius was seen. So that would probably be a good starting point. Weaver, at this point, again, we've just been rubbing her face, just trying to either just wake up or, make her way through this conversation. Okay. Is there any questions that you all might have?
I think Buka leans towards the four marshal before Weaver formally asks for questions. Four marshal, do we figure out their next target, the person or the thing that they're after?
And looks over at the Archforge. Well, there was this talk of a feather as one of the possible next items, which is also part of the reason why we believe heading north would probably be, to our best knowledge, the best direction we can go. It is one of the ingredients, or one of the ingredients. Is it ingredients?
Components?
And at that point, Weaver's like, it would be components. Components. Weaver kind of gives you a thumbs up. Buka is just like, yeah, that's good. It's the feather of a rock.
That's a little
looks at sees the confused looks. It's a mythical, ancient creature, a bird the size of a mountain. Not real, by the way. But, well, I don't think so. But either way, in ancient times, the rocks would roost on the Skyfang Range. But many of again, rocks still exist, but they're no longer the size of a mountain. But still formidable creatures, very rarely seen, but they do tend to live there. So
okay. Now, when we say a feather of a rock, do we think it's just a feather, or do we think a magical rock lives in this feather? As my eyes kind of wander over to the Archforge, who had a magic genie living in his sash.
It probably is not a situation
okay,
like the Ember Veil.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is. I'm going to be honest. I run an entire part of a country, and this seems like a little out of my pay grade. My family had a ancient vow with a fire djinn, and somehow this seems like the more ridiculous part of this. So,
yeah.
So
I look at Pierce and Val. So it's just us then?
Looks like it. I mean, we gotta go in and stay, I mean, unnoticed, but also just unrecognized.
Yeah. As you say that, Helena nods and just says, I know. And then Weaver seems like she wants to speak up. My queen, I know we would love to send a whole emissary group with them for travel and for protection. But the reality is, it seems like the Crystal Talons and these Children of Mercy, however these groups are aligned, that they have considerable reach and information and insight on many things. And the reality is, a group of 3 capable warriors and fighters are more likely to draw less attention when there isn't an entire army by their side. Yeah,
But
I know.
we could call in the army if it goes south, right?
They, at this point, like, as you ask that, everybody else at that table does make eye contact with each other as Weaver responds, just says, if we did, they would be seen as an act of war against Stey Caria, not just House Kael'mor.
So a suicide mission, almost.
I mean, let's not die.
That's the plan.
I mean, please don't.
I think we're usually pretty good at that.
Here's like, brings one hand back and hits Buka on his back, like, we got this.
Yeah. We got this. As Buka looks down at his arms that haven't gotten bigger in the past few weeks. Do we? Okay. Yeah, we got the. It's just a feather, right? Like, we just have to get this. If
We
we
need
get the
information.
feather, we need. Okay.
That's I
Well-
mean, that's the reality of it. Is, I mean, I'm also not going to ask you all to risk your lives. These are obviously incredible, like, fighters as well that you would be facing. And so the reality is, if we can figure out what it is that they're trying to do, we know that they're trying to cast something. These are components, right? And
Mhm.
so if we can figure that out and we get information, then we can maybe get, obviously, the Archforge is here, and then the Archforge speaks up. And the reality is, House Kael'mor does not seem to be huge fans of this group either.
Great. Okay, so plan A is information. Plan B is to take all the feathers and hide them. Because if they don't
Plan-
have any components, then they can't do whatever spell they want, right?
But this is also just based on storytelling, right? You even said that it couldn't be real. It's a giant mythical rock bird.
Well,
Hmm.
it's not made of rock. The name is a rock. It's more
Buka, stop headbanging.
the nature of it is a little bit more storm like in nature.
Okay.
I feel like after what we witnessed, nothing will surprise me.
Right. So we all have I look at Pierce, our orders, and I kind of nudge him to be like, yeah, no orders. Okay, great. We all have our orders. How are we going to communicate? Do we rendezvous somewhere?
And then looks over at the speaking stone that you guys had been using at this point. It is, at some point in the last couple of days that you guys have been here, it has been re-enchanted. That working like a phone. Still kind of limited to somebody else that has it, but you guys are able to communicate daily if you needed to with the keep. So
Okay.
With Weaver specifically, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
Was it attuned to a speaking stone to reach the Archforge?
we could make that work if that. And then it seems like the four marshal is trying to like stop him and just says, of course they can have my speaking stone.
I mean, obviously, I don't think, depending on situations, there will be much that you guys can do. I mean, it's for us to make these movements, but at least to fill you in, you're going to be the one in country, and if anything potentially is affecting the region, your area, we can get that information to you.
Wonderful. Yeah, obviously we would probably be your closest source of assistance or help. But I mean, I think as long as we can share lines of communication with everybody, I think the sooner and the more open, the better. So,
right. I guess last question from me, at least. Obviously, we do, for the most part, know what families or heads of house are part of the opposing side of the rest of the houses. Are any of them aware of us traveling? No.
No. Again, everything in our conversations at the end of going into the rest of the conclave and our continued communication, especially being as close of neighbors as we are, House Kael'mor is not always the most forgiving type. And so the Lord and Lady of the Iron Coast, they're upset, to say the least, about the whole situation. And so I don't think that they will outwardly be against what we're doing. But the unfortunate part, as looks to the three of you, as you guys all saw, there is a lot of inner politics that we have to play by. And so
Mm-hmm.
I guess any advice from you I mean, we're trying to stay hidden and travel in secret, but if we were to encounter, be questioned, things to say, not to say.
Travelers from Numir are not uncommon. So don't feel like you can't say. So as far as what the story is that you guys should choose to share,
just be on the same page.
Be on the same page. I will say a good destination. We do have some friends that, again, House Kael'mor cannot help directly. They're not even aware of this is happening, but obviously they're not ignorant to the fact that moves are happening on a larger scale than I think we all anticipated. But with that in mind, we do have a contact in a city within the region of House Kael'mor. But if you can make your way to Vaelthar, we can send word that we will have a group going, and it might make that it'll be about the midway point from my home to the Skyfing range. So it'd be a good place to rest. They might have more information that they might not be as privy to sharing over more magical means, but maybe in person they might be a little bit more. And so they go by a code name. And so they have just known in that region, they've established themselves. But you may call him Mr. Green Eye.
Eye?
Green Eye, singular.
Does he have 2 eyes or just 1 eye?
He has 1 working eye.
Oh, okay.
The other one's a freeloader.
It is a stone eye. It's not real. So
Oh,
Is the stone green or his real eye green?
I'll let you find that out.
I just want to be prepared.
Once you meet him, you'll know. Is there anything else that, again, there's no way to properly prepare you.
mm-hmm. Well, when do we leave?
Tomorrow. And as you guys have already been in talks, at this point, it's easily 9 or 10 p.m. already.
Great. Pierce might have to skip his second morning run, but we should be good to go.
Okay. We can at least get you transported to Lenith. Obviously, our lines of transportation within House Karzari are still easily accessible. So we can do that. And then from there, you might be traveling a bit on foot.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And then as that happens, Weaver just says one last thing. My friends, first of all, I'll keep the stone at my side at all times. So if anything comes up, please just let me know. I'll assist in any way that I can. But also, I know we can't really fully prepare you. And so, but we can at least prepare you moderately. And at this point, she hands you guys each a ring inlaid in the actual silver ring itself. You guys just notice symbols of like fire. And then she looks at you and just says, as you start making your way north, it'll be winter soon. And I think this might help with assisting with the worst of what the harsh north can provide or offer to you guys. And so this will help provide a little bit of actual warmth once it starts getting to a certain temperature. And so as long as you just keep that on you, unless it's the most extreme of cold, that should be helpful to you all. as well as you all obviously are more than capable of taking care of yourselves, but I would be remiss if I didn't provide at least a little bit. And so Weaver starts handing you each 3 bottles, so 9 total potions of healing.
Party inventory.
Yeah, so you guys can put it in the party inventory. You guys each currently have 3. If you guys refresh your guys' page,
Oh, great.
Wow.
and then at this point, one of the guards makes his way through the door and has cloaks, climbing equipment, pitons, multiple things that would just help traverse the north should the need arise, as well as Weaver digs into one of her pockets and pulls out 3 brooches, and then walks up to each of you and hands them to you, and just says, just so that we can all remain together a little bit. And you see that she has a similar brooch. It's a sunburst, and so just help keep your cloaks on. But just know that I am wishing you nothing but the best, and I know that if anyone has any chance of success, it's going to be you 3. So, and then she goes, as she's handing the brooches, hugs all of you guys, and then goes to the end of the table. But you guys start to make your way out. Val, you kind of feel like your new, it's very used, or your new dagger that Thel gave you as you left Lenneth, that you've seen him have before. It's like a pretty large dagger, a little bit larger than the one you had before, but you know he kept it to like a sharp point. Mostly he'd always use it for like hunting purposes, but you also know that push comes to shove, you could probably use it as a regular weapon. And then as you guys are making your way out, the 4 marshal stops you, Pierce, and then there's a point where he goes in and just says, knowing that this was going to be happening, we went into our stores of items that we had in the Archforge's home, and he shows you it's about like a 2-foot, just, it looks like a metal rod. If this is enchanted, this is strong beyond measure. And then if the need arises, you can use it for, honestly, I'll let you decide. You guys can get creative with it. But he shows you that there is like a button, and the rest of you guys can see this as well, as it's a small like button. It's truly like in part of the rod itself. Like it's fully flush with it. So if he had it pointed out to you, it would just look like a solid bar of metal. As he shows you where the button is, his hands let go of it, and it just fully remains in space. Clicks it again, turns it another way, clicks the button again, and as he lets go, it just remains again in space, and just says, "So for whatever you might need."
Wow, that's dope. Can it be moved once it's, I guess, activated, if that's what you would call it?
It's technically possible, but it is near impossible.
Can I try?
Go ahead and roll a strength check.
Try moving it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why do I think Pierce is going to use this as a pull-up rod in the morning to replace his second run?
Just a strength check, right?
If you want to do a strength check, you could, honestly, if you want to go into rage, because this rage is not going to count against you, this is going to be a DC 30.
Do it! Do it!
Try. Buka whispers, "You can do it," and gives him bardic inspiration.
I don't give you anything.
What dice do I get with a bardic?
It's a D8.
Oh, I could do it.
I could do
it. Not with that roll.
Oh.
Or that one.
Oh.
Well, what's the total? Let's see how close you got.
I can't do it.
It would have been, so I guess for the moment, I guess, not really knowing what to expect, because Pierce not that he doesn't understand magic, it's just he doesn't use it, so he's never seen this object before. He grabs onto it with both hands as he plants his feet, enters rage, and tries to pull it. And I roll a total of,
Add the D8.
oh, what I rolled max on the D8, still not enough. 21.
There's a point where you start to pull it, and part of it is again, some magic is you've encountered magic, incredibly potent. There's other magic that's very parlor tricky, meant for like a show or things like that. As you guys all see, and you guys all know that Pierce is fairly strong. As you start to pull it, you just feel the strain of it, and as you go the other way and start to push it, your feet start to slide it genuinely feels like you are just pushing up against the wall of the keep.
Yeah.
Flagpole. Flagpole.
But as you hypothetically almost start to like lift yourself up a little bit, the rod does not move.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like I said, it's near impossible. But
Now,
Yeah,
Buka,
I
you try.
see that.
I want to try.
go ahead and roll a strength check.
Yeah. I rolled a 16.
You stroke. It hurts like the extent that you're like, okay, oh.
Can I press the button and then move it to be like a hang up, not a hang up bar, a pull up bar?
Knowing where the button is, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to do an acrobatics.
Go ahead. The 4 marshal will give you the help action.
Perfect. First roll is a 23.
What?
We'll go with the 23.
He grabs your legs and just
like swings my legs.
But it's again this incredibly. It does just at first appearance. It would not give you the impression that it is as powerful of an item as this is. And then as you finally make your way down, Buka, the rod is just still in place.
I leave it up there, knowing that Pierce is gonna have to jump to get it.
1 inch. Boop, boop. But as you guys finish that up, the 4 marshal lets out like the closest you've ever seen to like a smile. It's like just one side starts to go up and just goes back down. The Archforge makes his way to Buka and then just says, "Don't worry, we got some good stuff for you too." And then he hands you 2 bottles. These are a little bit like larger at the base than the potions of healing that you got.
Mm-hmm.
You just have fun with these.
Okay, so it's not a potion of healing?
No. Just it's a little gift from the Archforge.
Thank you.
We try to come up with a better name, but it's just a potion of fire breath. So we tried to come up with a cooler name, but honestly,
Buka's jaw dropped.
I kind of just took it.
Fire breath. I like look at Pierce and Val and I just breathe in their face like I'm breathing fire.
Hot.
When
Not
was
as
the
bad.
last time
Not
you brushed
as
your
bad.
teeth?
Not as stinky as it would have been in the past, but still not great.
Buka, twice a day, and we floss.
Twice? Once
When
is
you wake up, and then
okay.
at night when you go to sleep, and then we floss, and then
There's so many. Buka was super pumped to get these potions of fire breath, but now seems pretty sad because
well, maybe if you
That's
use
why
the
I think-
potion, it'll kill like the gingivitis,
oh yeah,
like mouthwash, like
right.
the spicy mouthwash.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, Arch.
He chuckles a little bit and just says, "Just be careful, but I think you'll like it." And you guys make your way out. You guys are finally able to get your rest, long rest if anybody needs it. And the next morning, you start to make your way, packs full of these items. Val, you still have the bag of holding that Kavino gave you. And as you make your way out, at this point, it's fairly early in the morning. It hasn't not quite sunrise yet. It's fairly overcast. You guys are starting to feel like the beginnings of winter. And as you make your way past the stables where your infamous steeds were, you guys see Kavino like taking a bite from an apple and then letting another one of the horses eat it, and then takes a bite and then it just seems to be hanging out with the horses.
Okay, so when I share horse food, you guys yell at me, but when he does it, it's fine.
Kind of cool.
You guys see this extremely tall figure, again, very like orcish in coloring, You see his tusks slightly with a lot of the elven features. Does not seem to have his big like sun hat that he had when you guys first met him. But he sees you guys approaching, big smile, and just says, "Kiddos, you made it."
You made it. I didn't doubt you at all.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. It's kind of hard to miss the keep.
And it's not missing the keep. I just didn't think you'd actually come to the keep. So thank you.
Yeah, you guys asked me to. Of course I'd make it. But yeah, honestly, I haven't left yet just because. Okay, I'm not asking for the horses. I'm not going to say it. But I've grown very fond of Manifest and Destiny. So I've just been hanging out, and your friend the Queen's been more than generous. So you have a good friend in your corner.
Val, it sounds like he's asking for the horses.
I'm not. No.
Why would he say that if he wasn't actually asking for the horses?
Saying it so loudly, like it's just I don't want to make
would
it
help
seem.
it would help your travel.
I know, but then what if you guys come back and then you guys need?
I have so many horses.
It could extend the life of your boots by quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I see he looks over at all the other horses, not knowing that Val's family also owns the rest of those horses.
Did I not tell you? we like equestrian. It's equestrian, right? We like equestrian things.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, these are your horses, right?
I whispered to Camila, they are all her horses.
They are all our horses.
Looks back
They're
to
bred
the
from the
rest of it.
same, I think. There's a specific bloodline that my father really, really enjoys. So they all come from similar bloodlines. So if you have grown so attached to Manifest and Destiny, I think they would benefit you. And you did do us a huge favor. So
am I getting gifted a horses?
And a carriage.
And it's not even an apology. Normally you have to get an apology to get these horses.
Okay, then I already said I didn't want it, but he reaches into his pocket and pulls out the platinum. This is nowhere near a fair trade. You goes to Val, tries to put it in your hands. Just
no.
Take the platinum back.
To make sure they have the best life possible, I want you keep it. You feed them. All I ask is that we continue to cross paths. That's it. This is also an apology because I heavily misjudged you from the moment we met. So I was wrong.
You can see there's like a look of like, what?
I thought you were going to poison us with cake or something along the lines. Anyway.
But she always thought you were hot.
Thanks. First of all, would not try to poison
Why
you.
would you say that?
For sure.
I was trying to but you did, right?
In like anyway, he's old, too old. I'm
old.
sorry. Don't make it weird, Buka.
For calling him old or for
Well, I'm uncomfortable because I've been called old and attractive.
There's nothing wrong with being both, but
I agree. I'm just way older than you guys. But I do appreciate it. And I looks back, I appreciate the horses. I've never just been gifted horses, so thank you. And he does like the old guy thing where he doesn't know like if he should hug somebody or not. So he just goes in for like, a side hug.
Yeah. And Buka slides in to take the hug.
Like he's like, I'll give it to anybody. That's thanks. I just don't know what to say. Looks at you guys. Looks like you kiddos are also on your way out.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
it's been so much since the last time we saw you.
I've heard stuff happened up north, so not really my place to ask, but if you are all involved with that, I'm wishing you best of luck on whatever trip or journey you're on. So
thanks. You too.
Thanks. I don't even know where I'm going next, but I have a form of transportation. This is great. As he's looking at the horses, he's like, I have horses now. Okay.
Quality championship bloodline horses.
Very well. Then may we all be blessed on our journey. But he gives you guys all a nod, and you guys knowing that you have to be on your way. You guys make your way up. You guys head to the teleportation circle. And at this point, you guys have been in recent memory, traveling through it a lot, so that you guys, knowing the incantation, you guys are also able to do it without the need or help of Weaver as you had the last couple times. And with that, two weeks later, you are all waking up or have been up for a little bit. Small fire keeping majority of the chill away. The rings also doing what they need to do. I will start off with Buka. What is Buka doing this early morning? And what does Buka look like right now?
Right. I think Buka woke up in a quick start because I can't remember if I told the leaning tree that I was going to be gone again. Oh no. Okay, well, we're just going to go for a quick, brisk walk around the camp to see what we can see. And Buka throws on his clothing, and with a golden brown coat that has been upkept ever since his bath
Yes.
at Lennon Academy. He's working on personal hygiene. A golden brown coat, dark purple, almost black striping. Honestly, a striking appearance if you were to look close enough. Puts on his deep reddish brown winter coat with faux fur lining the collar and the upper body of the jacket. Sleeves cut off right below the elbow, so as to keep claws free and forearms free of movement. Slips on boxy yet smooth cargo pants, similarly lined as his jacket, and custom tailored to accommodate my tail. Can't forget that. Obviously, it's capri cut for my feet and my ankle dexterity, and slips on a headband, a fuzzy one, to keep my ears warm and toasty.
Beautiful. You guys see Buka pacing by the fire, which he's probably done a couple times in the last couple of days, realizing maybe he should have let Heckin know that he was leaving again.
Okay, who has the speaking stuff? Maybe I can. Do you think Weaver would go and tell Heckin for me if I?
No.
Okay.
I mean, she might
Maybe I
have
can
somebody
have her-
go tell him for her.
Or okay, yeah. Can we do that? Can I? Let's do that. And
We're gonna waste a message to tell her that, you know what, it's fine. I think if it calms your anxieties,
Buka,
I think it's worth it.
How about we wait until the end of the day, since I planned on checking in with Weaver every night anyways. That way we can check in and ask her to do that for you.
See, Buka, he knows how to use the speaking stone, but only to Weaver.
You said that yesterday, and then we didn't do it. And then I went to sleep because I forgot, and now I'm panicking again.
Yeah, but did you panic all day yesterday?
He's just ignoring what I said now.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Pierce, you feel the speaking stone. You give it a little pat. With that, what is Pierce doing this morning, and what does Pierce look like?
I feel like we're in the snow, so as much as he is a runner, he understands that it's probably not the best idea. That it's just like too cold for that. So he still got up early, kind of just got like physically warm by just moving around a lot, using his new immovable rod as a pull-up bar and just like getting his body warm. Not that he like really needs it because we have the rings. We are like clothes for the weather, but just for his own morning routine, something adjusted for cold weather, but still emulating what I usually do. As far as clothing, not a glove guy, so no gloves. I just got pockets so I can keep my hands in there whenever they do feel a little bit too cold. Very like dark cloak and pants, not quite black, but like pretty much like a charcoal, very dark charcoal color. Minimal fur like lining, just on like the hood itself. There's like a trim of fur. On the inside, just I know all of us would have been prepared with the warmest and most comfy of clothes. The cloak that I have, it I don't know what it's called, but it like overlaps in the front instead of cinching in the center. So the like brooches that we have are like, it's kind of up in my shoulder area. Not super decorative, not Pierce's thing, but he's just comfy chilling.
Value, as you know, that Pierce has been actively avoiding the question of why he hasn't been messaging other people using the speaking stone. What is Val doing this morning, and what is she wearing?
I think Val is entering her soft girl era and embracing it. So she is currently sitting by the fireplace, waking up and reading a gift from Covino. It would be the Songs of the Elder Trees, and maybe humming a few tunes from it as well. Currently, Val is wearing, hold on, let me get to my notes because my phone closed.
Pull up your Pinterest vision board.
My Pinterest vision board, it didn't save. I'm upset. So we're gonna freeball it.
Yeah.
We love when plans just out the window. But Val is wearing, let's start bottom to top, some combat boots that go mid-calf, and then leather cargo pants lined with fur to keep her warm, as well as many pockets for utility, and a corseted bustier top that is also leather and has panels of velvet in the color scarlet. And on top is a archer's cloak, has a very kind of oversized hood to pull over, also fur lined as well. And then most importantly, the sleeves of the cloak flare out at the wrists, and then she has nice leather gloves on underneath, and then the red on the inside because bougie.
I love that. What would your guys's cover story do you guys think would be, as you guys have been, obviously you guys aren't necessarily broadcasting what it is that you're doing, and so
Bar hopping.
We're professional bar hoppers.
Are there bars here? We
I
can bar
love
hop.
where your mind's at.
in the middle of the woods.
Right. We're in between bars.
We're just hopping.
Looking at the group, I feel like Pierce would look at Val. I mean, not that we're not in nice clothes, but you do look fancier than us. So
this is strictly
what
utility.
If,
what do you mean?
I understand. But what if you're I guess, head of like a trading group, and we're traveling to cities in Stey Caria to hopefully make new connections
and procure items.
I'm your bodyguard, and Buka is like works with you, for you, in some kind of like.
That's the muscle. He does all the heavy lift. Or you do the heavy lifting. He does work. I have money.
Right.
Great.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Would you guys have been using your real names? Again, people don't really know who you are, so it's up to you guys.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Right. I think at this point, I mean, obviously, we probably had made this decision and talked about this earlier before we started traveling, and all came to the conclusion that Buko wouldn't want to or wouldn't be able to not tell people his real name.
Yep.
But it'd be so fun to have different names and different.
Yeah, you can call me Bartholomew. Birth
for short.
Buka is like
Great.
starting.
This is not a good idea.
Like dry heave at the sound of being called Bartholomew.
Or really just
we
anything
just
not your
don't
real
use
name.
her last names.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
that's fine.
We don't need. Do people normally share their last names?
I don't know.
I feel like you might, whether you want to use your real last name or not, you would probably need one, just being that you are the one trying to make these connections. Potentially on who we talk to in these cities, they might ask for your last name.
Right. Can't we? Well, isn't your last name like already associated with business and trading?
Yes. I guess
Great.
I would use my last name.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm starting a
if you need
business
to.
venture on my own, away
Yeah.
from my father.
But we have
It's
to
Because
use
a
the
new
cloud
venture.
covered
a
by
new venture,
your name.
but
Yes.
we're relying on my nepotism
Yes.
to
Nepo
Right.
baby.
I
I think as we finish this conversation, this whole time, because he was like kind of working out, Pierce's hood was up, and he pulls it down, and for the first time for the two of them, Pierce has like a full beard.
Yes.
He has not shaved since we left, for the most part, since we left Alcor in the first place, but maybe like kept it trimmed along the way a little bit, and now it's like, I mean, I was in the military, had to keep clean shaven, short haircut, but
got to stay in rags.
I haven't gotten a haircut, I haven't shaved, and it's cold and it's snowing, so there's like there's snow in my beard. And then as my like immovable rod is like kind of up in the air a little bit, and I start putting my like belt on, and you can see that it's been like adjusted and modified, so there's a spot for my immovable rod along with my sword.
That's cool. I love it. Yeah, and obviously all the name things and stuff like that, and the cover story, I'm assuming, would have been done the moment you guys left Alcor. So
I think it'd be funnier if we decided right before we were about to enter Stey Caria.
I mean, that's kind of when you would have done it. Like
maybe like as we were leaving House Krazari's region, I think.
Right, we're in the portal.
We would have gone in through Lenneth and like felt like we didn't necessarily need to make those decisions yet, or hadn't really like registered that we needed to have it. And then as we started traveling out of his region, we were like,
oh wait, why are we doing this?
Who are we? It's crazy.
Beautiful. As you guys are getting ready for the day to come, you guys hear rustling as next to you guys, two small halflings, older at this point. You guys have been traveling for the last 2 days with Halton and Corinne Barley Whistle. They are these two halflings that are visiting their granddaughter in like a neighboring town. Found out that you guys were traveling over to Vaelthar, and then at some point Halton had been driving this small carriage, but with like one horse, and just says, yeah, of course we'll give you a ride, that'll be wonderful, don't you worry about it. But at this point they've also woken up and just look at everybody and just says, are you guys all ready to get going this morning?
Oh yes, I think so. Do we need help? Do we need to pack up real quick?
I already got it all done, don't you worry about it.
Oh
yeah, the only one that was
Not
awake
the
was
fire.
points over at Pierce. This fellow's been up doing these pull-ups for a little bit now, but yeah, he helped a little bit, but then he said he had to get back to his workout. Plus, we only had some of our sleeping things. So, but yeah, let's get going before the chill gets in our bones, as they say.
okay.
And you guys, this cute little like halfling couple sits in the front. There's more than enough room. You guys have just positioned yourselves in the back of this small carriage that is fully open. So any rain or snow would absolutely hit you guys. But right now, very chilly, but it is fully clear. Not a single cloud in the sky. As in some ways it makes it a little bit chillier, but your guys' clothes and rings providing with the warmth to keep any like serious chill away. But you guys load up your stuff to the carriage and just says, all right, let's get going. Well, we're going forward. And he motions for his horse to go using the reins. And you guys are trekking on this road, this paved road, basically, that is made up of multicolored stone. You guys hadn't noticed it at Lenneth because it wasn't there, but along the last couple of weeks, you guys have been traveling along one of the main roads in Stey Caria. The entirety of the road composed of red and gold stone that doesn't fully get rid of the snow, but it seems to not allow like heavy amounts of it to build up, as it seems to be enchanted in some way to allow easy travel and transportation. But you guys have been on the road again for a little bit, only traveling with these lovely halflings that have given you guys a lift for a couple of days at this point. But as it's a couple hours in, just making small talk, a lot of travel realistically is just quiet, listening to nature. But there's a point where Halton speaks up a little bit and then just says, "No, no, I'll tell them. I'll tell them. Do you guys hear that?" And then as you guys, over the sound of the wheels hitting the stone, you guys are already at this point, maybe like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. You start to hear the sounds of birds from not that far of a distance, as well as the smell of salt as you guys are nearing the coast again. And the sound of birds is massive. You guys have been close in some parts along the journey, especially in the last day or so. But as the actual road starts heading true north, you guys are traveling basically almost perfectly aligned with the coast. You guys hear the sounds of birds again from not that far, but from a bit of a distance. And the first part of the ocean that you guys can see at this point is just the most blue that you guys can imagine. There are some seagulls and albatrosses, different kinds of birds that seem to be there, but you guys notice that they're a little bit further away, the majority of them. You even from this distance, you guys see this massive collection of animals and birds. Some of them just seem to be circling and flying in odd directions. You see the occasional larger bird of prey almost like swoop down into the water from a distance. And at first, there are portions where you could probably, if you guys made your way there, climb down this small hill, but then it would be sand. But as you guys are continuing the trek north, Corinne speaks up a little bit and just says, "Is anybody hungry?"
Puka looks at Pierce.
Pierce raises his hand.
Of course. Yes, of course, of course. And then hands you some like cheese and like dried and salted meats. She says, "But we could probably maybe talk to some of the fishermen about getting us maybe a bite to eat if you guys are all interested."
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
love to try to that.
And then at this point, Halton speaks up again and just said, Have you guys made your way this far north before?"
Not recently.
Looks over at the other two. I'm going to take that as a no. So you're in for something amazing. And then the road starts traveling slightly up, and you realize that you are gaining altitude as the water gets further and further and further below you, as you have no longer access to a beach. You
Mhm.
realize that you are the road itself goes pretty close to sheer cliffs. And at first it's maybe like a 10-foot drop, 15, 20, progressively to a point where you guys are high above the water. After another 30, 40 minutes, the sound of birds getting even louder, there's a point where you're probably about 120 feet above the waves. You hear the sounds of water crashing against coves and the walls of these massive cliff walls. And there is a point where Halton starts to slow down. Everyone going to give me perception checks.
Perception. Ooh.
My rolls have continued. 17.
17?
No. 13. I can do math.
13? Cool. Anybody get above a 10?
No.
Wonderful.
I got a 24.
I did not.
No, Pierce, I think right now you're just, I think, enjoying the actual scenery.
Mhm.
I think you all have developed somewhat of like a danger sense. And so at this point, you guys have just been traveling for the last couple of days, and the sound of wildlife is just so much more massive. But for Buka and for Val, you guys see as you guys are continuing along, maybe about I'll say about 50 feet towards the cliffs, you see dozens of fishermen
Hmm.
with fishing lines that truly go all the way down 120, 140 feet as they are fishing.
That's dope.
I lean over to Pierce. I've only seen the fishing boats at the dock and those types of fishing poles. This feels very inefficient.
It's just a different style of fishing. Plus, the fish that they find here are most likely different up against the cliffs, but it's not easy to get down there, I'm sure. So they've just
Right.
modified and adjusted so they can fish from up here.
As you
Okay.
guys are looking, and at this point, you guys make your way there. Halton slows down, and you guys are able to get off as you guys are as he's leading you guys towards some of the fishermen. You could tell that some of them have these massive buckets that are filled with ice. You can tell just from nearby, help keep some of the fish cold as they are catching them. You guys are looking, can't really see it even from the distance that you are. And honestly, at this point, you realize there's more and obviously in different patches, because the cliff line runs probably for miles.
Mhm.
This height of cliff. And then you could tell that there are portions and sections where a lot of fishermen tend to form, and you won't see anybody for a couple 100 feet, and then another group of fishermen, and then 300 feet down. So you start to notice that trek as you guys are nearing the cliff, the sound of water getting even louder and louder, and the animals loving the fact that so much fish and activity seems to be happening here, just like you would at any pier. Just the only difference is of the water being 5 feet below you, this is about 120 feet below you. And honestly, as you're nearing this group, most of them are just relaxed. They have like the lines next to them dug into the ground a little bit, but they just seem to be chatting. And there's like a point where two of them there seems to be like this excited energy about them. You could tell that one of them is maybe 8 or 9 years old, and then the one standing next to him. And also, as you guys are looking, everyone, even though you guys are in the far north, dark skinned, just from being in the sun day in and day out. You could tell that these are true fishermen, even like the youngest ones, wiry muscles. Kid about 8 or 9 years old is talking excitedly, seems to be like an older brother. You see this familiarity in their appearances, and they're shouting, they're excited, and some of the older fishermen are kind of laughing and pointing as both of them are cranking this fishing line, and this is against a cliff, so you guys can't truly see. And there is like a point where they dig themselves in. You guys didn't notice it because of some of the snow, but there seems to be these metal footholds that have been dug into the ground that they can use to position themselves so that they don't fall forward. And there's a point where most of them were sitting down on their butts. And then there's a point where you realize that the two that are excited are their feet are still on these stands, but they're being lifted up as they are cranking something massive. And there's a point as the lines finally start reaching their zenith that you realize that these two have caught the same animal as a massive tuna, 8 feet in length, easily, as you guys are looking at it, weighing anywhere from like 400 to 500 pounds. This massive animal. As some of the older folks are just laughing. And they're eventually, one of the older guys seems to come in and finally is like, okay, I'll come and help. And then they lift this thing out, as there just seems to be this energy of just camaraderie and family and just the livelihoods of people living their lives. Is there anything you guys would like to do in particular, or would you guys like to just purchase some fish?
I do want to purchase some fish.
Watching this makes Buka very happy and a little giggly as well, seeing people enjoy what they do. So I'm going to venture down next to some of the fishermen that are still fishing and plop myself down next to them.
Yeah. And then you could tell, again, this energy, these people don't know who you are. One of them looks to you, Buka, and just says, do you want to give it a try?
Oh, are you going to be able to? Can you help me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
All right. And then he stands up and then motions for you to his spot. And then just says, cool, you're going to dig your feet in here. And then once you feel a pull, you just start cranking away, and then we'll get the fish.
Okay. And Buka sits there excitedly, thinking it's going to happen in the next 30 seconds or so.
There is like a point where you're waiting, because it seems that Halton and Corinne are at least familiar with this group of fishermen. You could tell that it's kind of like almost the same as like a regular visiting like a restaurant versus like, oh, we know each other on a first name. This kind of thing.
Mhm.
But there is this level of familiarity as they start to, like, next to you guys, start to prepare the giant tuna and slice it up that just caught this massive thing, pull out this giant sashimi knife that is it's honestly, for all practical purposes, it's a short sword, as they start to carve the fish, and you guys are able to purchase some. Uka, go ahead and give me an athletics check or a nature check.
Did Halton, it just seem like he approached any particular fisherman, or is he like also just watching?
He's kind of watching, but he's just chatting with some of them.
Yeah, so both of those are not good. Here we go. That's a 10. It's not terrible.
Okay.
I'm
10
gonna
total?
do 10 for nature.
Okay, 10 for nature. There is like
Yes.
a point where it's so easy to fish here. Like, it's genuinely so easy that it seems, again, most of the fishermen are just kind of hanging out. There doesn't seem to be like an active fishing element at this particular moment. You also don't know how long they've been here, as you're starting to see like some of these giant buckets. Also, not every fish that they have caught has been of that size, but
Right.
but you can tell that it already seems like they have large stores of fish already saved up, and so they're just enjoying the day. And so there's a point where you feel it, and as you're looking at the actual line, the fishing pole itself looks almost like any traditional pole you would see at any pier, anything like that. Couldn't tell from a distance. The line that they're using is so thick. It's like truly like corded wire that just is so long. You can tell this thing is used but extremely well kept. But as you're doing it, even with the 10 nature, Buka's not the strongest being in the world, but you're still capable of fishing, and you do find one. Go ahead and just roll me a luck check.
Okay. Big money, big money, big money. Oh,
Big
yeah.
fish.
Big fish. 16.
16.
Yeah.
Not to the extent of the size that they caught, but you catch this massive fish. This one, the coloring is a little bit differently. The other one had been like this like dark like blue to almost like match the other, like the color of where it lives. This one fully iridescent. You guys have never seen a fish like this before, as this thing is size-wise, it's a lot smaller. It's probably about 1.5 feet in length. Pretty chunky for a fish, but it is this pink iridescent color that as you go and are pulling it up, there is like a point where it does shift in coloring a little bit, and it becomes almost like a fiery yellow. And then these small, they're not spikes, but these small parts of like the scales flare out a little bit as it makes its face flat. And it seems to be some kind of defense mechanism. Like, you've never really seen a creature like this before, but its eyes get bulgy as its face just gets flat. But at this point, it's like caught in the hook, and you're able to bring it up. And one of the guys helps you as it's flailing about, helps you grab it, and they put it down and just says, "Do you want us to prepare? Did you want us to put it in ice or?"
Right. Halton, is this do we want this one?
Oh yeah, that's a wonderful fish. Yeah, that'll taste really good with some vegetables. Corinne, we still have some vegetables that we can make for maybe maybe we can make sandwiches perhaps. Yes, darling. Oh yes, we should have some. We can just prepare it now if that's okay with you, Buka.
Yeah. Let's do it. And Buka looks proudly over to Val and Pierce.
One of the fishermen has this massive knife. Zero hesitation. The moment the fish's face goes from flat to just normal, and just fully head clean off. And there seems to be laughter. There seems to be that's part of nature. One of them grabs like a part of like a tendon or something, pulls at it from the head, and the head just goes flat. Almost like a little puppet. But you guys are there.
Are any of the are the scales like really small? Are they like good size scales? Because it's pretty colors, you know?
Yeah, no, they're pretty decently sized. But as you are looking at it, there seems to be almost like this more of a layering of scales than you would see on a traditional fish. And then you realize that part of the way that the color refracts a little bit and creates this iridescent is certain of the scales will shift so that as light hits it, it
Mhm.
seems to bounce off each other, almost like a prism of some kind.
Whoa. I asked the
Um,
fisherman, if you skin it and then if we were to dry it, would it still look like that?
Mhm.
Okay. Would it be too much to ask that you do that for us?
Yeah, not at all. And then again, you guys are seeing again a lot of honestly, a lot of the people that you guys are seeing are extremely young. Like some of them are 8, 9 years old, some of them incredibly like wise and old at this point. But even from the youngest to the oldest, you could tell that as casual as they're taking it, they have reached a level of expertise, even the youngest ones, that you guys could never reach at this point. This is these people's livelihood. But you see he prepares, and there's a point where you guys are, because at this point too, again, we're nearing the middle of the day. You guys are taking your lunch break. You guys are the horses can't travel indefinitely, so they also need their break. So you guys use this moment as your moment to rest, as there are drinks being handed or like out, like even the children taking like a sip or two before they're being taken away by some like older like uncles or parents or grandparents. But then there's this chuckling and this mirth as you guys are amongst these fishermen. You guys are there for about an hour. The smell of fish goes away at some point as you guys are just there, but the sound is still so deafening as the birds of this area are just so active. And you guys occasionally feel like the wind go up as it makes its way up these massive cliffs. As you guys are finishing up, Halton looks at you guys, takes off his hat in a sad way, says, I'm very sorry to say that this is I think where we have to be parting ways. Our path to go visit our granddaughter leads us in another direction. We're no longer heading north, but I do appreciate you guys sharing your time with us.
And we appreciate you carrying our stuff for a bit.
Oh yeah, that was honestly that was all the horse. That wasn't me. But
Pierce, they did more than carry our stuff.
Thank you for your hospitality, is what he means.
of course, hey,
And the snacks. They
and
gave
the
us snacks.
The hospitality includes snacks.
Oh,
well, listen, it is our pleasure. We believe in us Stey Carians here believe that we should be taking care of the people around us. So hospitality goes a long way, I think. And the only thing we ask is that you pass on the hospitality forward.
We will.
Lovely. You see that him and Corinne shake hands and with some of the people, some of the fishermen that they seem a little bit more familiar as with you. They go up to all you guys, they give you guys nice firm handshakes as the halflings make their way back to their carriage, the horse, and you start to see that they make their way north or west, sorry.
those liars. They were still headed north. They just wanted to get rid
Oh,
of us.
they're lying. They're sick and tired of you guys.
They stole
Uh,
the fish from us and they didn't want to share.
But there is one point where, as you guys wrap up and finish up, that two of the fishermen they almost look like traditional wine skins or like water skins of some kind. But you see that they pack it in, and they're a little bit larger, but they pack it in with a decent amount of snow. And then, because you guys have already eaten, but some of the extra like fish meat gets packed in there, and then they tie it up and then give it to you guys, and you guys are able to put that either just carry it, put it in the bag of holding, but you guys have some like fresh fish meat as well as Buka has and you could tell again from the cut that it's like perfectly like this. Everything has been kept intact. The only thing that they're keeping is the head, but
The children are.
100% they're just being sickos and just going bloop, 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 as this poor fish head just.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me fish.
Of course. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for sharing your time with us. So,
And then
safe
is it
travels.
just this way to Velthar? As I point down the road, heading north.
To Baltar? Yeah. You're maybe a couple a day or so away, but yeah.
Okay. Well, if you see anybody else, and I hope that they have as much fun as we did.
Listen, if they're with us, yeah, they'll have a lot of fun. And then they wave to you guys as you guys make your way back to the main road. and start making your way north, now with a little bit more fresh food in your guys' bags. There's a point pretty quickly after where the road, and you can tell it's not like a gradual change, it's a clean cut of the stone going from red and gold to becoming silver and blue.
Mm-hmm.
As you have now officially entered the territory of House Kalemore. Geographically, looks about the same. Genuinely, like the road being the largest indicator that you now stepped into House Kalemore's area of Stey Caria. But the road leads, again, almost perfectly north as the cliff walls continue on. You guys travel for a couple more hours at this point. Weather staying about the same. There is a point where you guys see, again, along the road after a couple of miles, multitude of fishermen again in these different groups. Sound of the birds and the number of fishermen goes lower, and finally just drops completely. It seems like that area that you guys had seems to just be like a healthy place for the wildlife. The sea life is just very active. But as you guys have been traveling for a few hours now, it just seems like back to just traveling on the road alone. The road itself is pretty clear. You occasionally will see a random person here and there, but you reach this portion where, again, about 50, maybe a little bit more, because the road goes in a little bit, maybe about 80 feet away are the cliff walls. And then to your left is this like wooded area. You guys have been passing multitudes of trees, not quite like a true forest, but it seems that there is this large, it's too small to say mountain, but there are like this large wooded area where there is, again, it kind of goes up, it's just heavily wooded area that creates like with the road creating like a border between these two landscapes, I would say. Everyone go ahead and give me perception checks.
Perception. I think that's my toxic trait. Whenever somebody tells me to roll something, I have to repeat what it is.
Perception.
Yeah. 22. Oh, that's a big old 4 for Pierce.
21.
Pierce, the beard is clearly really messing you up right now.
Picking at it instead of paying attention to the road.
Yeah.
For Val and for Buka, great rolls. You hear it first. There's like a point where the sound of like birds, it becomes very loud. Like first it's distant, it starts to become louder again. It almost is similarly to when you guys were first approaching the coast. But then you start to see a massive migration of birds going from west to east towards the water, as hundreds of birds make their way above you guys. At some point, almost starting to like block the sun to some extent, as all of these animals are making their wooded area to your left. You suddenly start to see dozens upon dozens of animals, deer, squirrels. You see some like warthogs or wild hogs of type. All of these different kinds of animals are running to you guys.
The middle of the stampede?
Yes, they're starting to make their way. Some you could tell are veering towards different directions, but a large chunk of them are like headed toward.
Oh, how close are we to the trees?
You're about 40 feet away.
Let's book it.
Does
to
it
the
feel like we
trees.
could hop into the trees to get out of the way?
Yeah, so that would be heading a little bit in their direction. But yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and start making your way to get out of there. As that's happening, you start to see, you hear it first, and then you start to see what it is that all of these animals, the birds and then the wildlife, have been running away from, as you see this 200-foot tall wave of water makes its way down the mountainside towards you guys. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
You're trying to waterboard us when we got this is the first episode back.
Cue the music.
A tsunami in episode 1? That's crazy.
But it's coming from the mountain. It's not even coming from the ocean.
It's
Is it
melted.
It's water?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, you
Hey,
said water.
hey, welcome to chapter 2, everybody.
It's a magic. It's a bean. It's a geyser of mayo.
Pierce, you're gonna have to use that in the